You're touching on something which is just so fascinating, which is because what is our role? People want to invite us into the role of judge, or they plonk us right in the middle, and that's not necessarily where we're most useful.
Right.
And we have to listen to ourselves. Then we go, well, this doesn't feel right. Am I in the right place? Am I going to take your invitation to be in the middle and try and sort this out? Am I going to? How do you know when you're not in the right place and you need to sort of maybe step aside, or something? There's something wrong about the process.
Yeah. I think in this case, there wasn't something wrong with the process because the thing is you put the process in place, you put the governance in place. And for me, I have a very clear visual of what that looks like. In this case, I can tell you, we had our core project team, which was like doing the work. It was me and a couple of really fantastic right hands, basically like putting this process in place, doing the workshops, doing the facilitation. We had identified subject matter experts that would be brought into the conversation as needed, attending I think that they were weekly core team meetings. Then we had our steering committee where we identified these are our real decision makers. And here's the executive sponsor who can like kind of trump everybody else. That's how we did it. And I knew that my job was never as a decision maker. My job was to put a really clear and concise process in place with core milestones that we're all working toward together and celebrating the success when we've achieved them, moving on to the next thing, bing, bang, boom. But what I'll say is because these conversations are so intense and so just like loaded and personal for people, I got caught up in the drama of it. And that's really easy to do. And imagine having these conversations without the process in place, without the governance in place. And that's often what people are doing. It makes perfect sense why you avoid this like the plague. This comes up a lot when you think about performance management. Like managers can't give tough feedback and they sort of like just give them the pay bump or the like next level up just to, do it. It's the same sort of thing. Without the infrastructure and like the education on how to have these conversations and recognize what your place is in the process, you can get turned around. So for me, my role is never as decision maker. It's always as facilitator and expert. And my job is to tee up the really sticky wicket questions and usually say, here's option A, B, maybe sometimes a C if it's really sticky. And this is what I recommend. And I leave it to them. And I tell my teams because they can get frustrated because they want to be more powerful. And I'm like, no, this is actually quite powerful. You can really set the stage, you can build the world for them, and you can put forward your recommendation. You're not the first one through the wall. That's a blessing. You're there as like an advisor, right? And you really make that clear because you also need the leaders to take ownership of this. It's not for you to be the scapegoat, which I think, by the way, also was happening when I was leading out these conversations in that forum. It's really easy to blame the consultant, to blame the external person coming in. And so being really clear, this is my role and this project sponsor is your role.